Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now finally here I am back again with another video. Yeah, it's been a little while since I have made a video. It's been like, I think a week at least since I made my last video. Yeah, I just really haven't known what to really do videos on as of late, but yeah, here I am with this one, and so I figured I would just make another retro wrestling review. And so, yeah, and for this review, I decided to review Vengeance 2002. So this is a show that really I don't really hear people talking about. I mean, this pay-per-view really doesn't really ever get talked about by anybody, really. I mean, this is just like one of those pay-per-views that really just, it happened, and once it passed by, it just seemed like nobody ever really talked about it anymore. Like, nobody ever, brings this, pay-per-view up. I really haven't seen very many reviews of this pay-per-view up on YouTube, so yeah, this is just kind of a show that just came and went, and nobody really ever brought it up ever. But yeah, and I really do think that this pay-per-view really does deserve some recognition, because not this was overall, it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything truly outstanding or anything, but it was actually a pretty enjoyable pay-per-view overall. Oh, I mean, yeah, there really wasn't anything terrible on the show at all, and just really it really was actually a really enjoyable show to watch. I mean, yeah, this was the first official pay-per-view of the Ruthless Aggression era, and yeah, it did actually get things off to a pretty good start in the era. Yeah, I mean, this was just something that really just was the start of a whole new period in the WWE. I mean, this was the first pay-per-view after there were the general managers for Raw and SmackDown, and yeah, they were just made on the previous episode of Raw and SmackDown prior to this pay-per-view with Eric Bischoff as the Raw general manager and Stephanie McMahon as the SmackDown general manager. Yeah, and yeah, you just did have while the show overall, it probably doesn't have that a whole line of really great matches. For the really just the decent at best matches that this show does have, they actually are very enjoyable to watch. And so yeah, for a pay-per-view that really is just not really mentioned at all, it probably is a very underrated pay-per-view, because it just really was a very enjoyable pay-per-view to watch. And yeah, like I said, I really do think that this pay-per-view really does deserve recognition. I mean, yeah, if you haven't watched this pay-per-view before, I would definitely recommend checking it out, because I really do think it is definitely worth a watch, and just it deserves just so much more recognition, because like I said, really nobody has really talked about this show. It just I came and it just went. It just passed by, and it just seemed that everybody just has totally forgotten the show. But yeah, it is definitely a very good show, and is definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it before. So yeah, alright, so yeah, let me just talk a little about the pay-per-view. So yeah, this was the first pay-per-view where you actually did have a Michael Cole and Taz commentating this pay-per-view along with Jaron King, though it was in a different format than what it did become known as, where this wasn't with how it was known to be, with Jaron King calling the Raw matches and Michael Cole and Taz commentating the SmackDown matches. It was in a different format on this pay-per-view, because before the show, on Sunday Night Heat, there was a thing where Michael Cole and Taz just came out, and they were just kind of confronting Jaron King a little bit, just saying that they deserved to call pay-per-views just as much as Jaron King did. And so then the four of them then came to an agreement where Michael Cole and Taz would commentate the first half of the pay-per-view, and Jaron King would commentate the second half. Yeah, I'll put this confrontation down in the description if you want to watch it. So yeah, and so yeah, so that's how this pay-per-view was done, where it was Michael Cole and Taz really did commentate just the first half of the pay-per-view, the first half of the card really, and Jaron King commentated the second half. So yeah, for the first 4 matches on this pay-per-view, Michael Cole and Taz were the commentary team. All right. So the first match of the night was a tag team table match. It was the Dudley Boys. This was like when Bubba Ray and Spike were the Dudley Boy tag team. Yeah, so it was Bubba Ray and Spike Dudley versus Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. And yeah, this was actually a pretty good match right here. I mean, yeah, you really don't really see like guys like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit in this type of environment, like the table matches and stuff. So yeah, it was like pretty interesting to see them in this type of environment. And this was like a pretty good match right here. I mean, yeah, you did have like it was just back and forth between both teams. I thought all four guys did get enough offense here, and yeah, and Spike really did look good in this match as well. Yeah, you just like kind of have like some spots where like there looked like somebody was going to be put through a table, but the table was moved. Like there was one point where Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero were like trying to double superplex Bubba Ray Dudley through a table, but Spike ended up moving the table out of the way before Bubba actually went through it. Yeah. Yeah, and it just was like a pretty good back and forth tag match and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I really did like the spot at the tables where like the superstar did go through tables. Like the first one that went through a table was Eddie Guerrero, where like Eddie Guerrero was like standing on the ring apron with the table like on the floor behind him, and he was trying to suplex a Spike who was inside of the ring through the table. But yeah, Spike ended up like countering it, and then Spike then like while he was on the ring apron with Eddie Guerrero, like Spike then just did a Dudley dog on Eddie Guerrero down to the floor through the table, and yeah, that like put Eddie Guerrero through the table. But really, like, I think Spike actually went through the table more than Eddie Guerrero did. Yeah, because Spike is the one that really did go through the table. It was just like Eddie Guerrero's like head and face that really did like hit the table. So yeah, it was really more like Spike Dudley going through the table. Yeah. And then Chris Benoit then eventually then like put Spike through a table after like hitting Spike with a military press through the table to the floor, and then it was down to Chris Benoit and Bubba Ray Dudley, and Chris Benoit then was like trying to like suplex Bubba through the table, but Bubba countered it and then hit a Bubba bomb on Chris Benoit through the table, and so then yeah, Bubba Ray Dudley, he was the survivor, and so yeah, Bubba Ray and Spike Dudley got the win in the match. So yeah, this was actually a pretty good match right here. I would give this probably like a 3.25 or 3.5 stars. Yeah, somewhere in that range. Yeah, you'll see in the description what my final rating for that match is. But yeah, it was a pretty good match. And then next up, then we had the Cruiserweight title on the line. It was Jamie Noble defending against a Billy Kidman. And yeah, this was actually a pretty good match right here, too. I mean, it was pretty short overall. I mean, it was only about like 7.5 minutes. But yeah, it was a pretty enjoyable Cruiserweight title match right here. I mean, it was nothing like truly outstanding or anything. Of course, like in Cruiserweight matches, you know, like how great the Cruiserweights are. And so, yeah, there, of course, have been like many better Cruiserweight matches than this. But yeah, this was still an enjoyable match for the time that it lasted. I said, yeah, I mean, there really wasn't anything too memorable about this, though I did like when, like, there was, like, a point in the match I thought was kind of funny, where, like, Jamie Noble was, like, on the outside of the ring, and Billy Kidman was, like, trying to dive over the ropes to the outside of Jamie Noble, but, yeah, Jamie Noble, like, moved out of the way, but Billy Kidman, rather than, like, just, like, splatting down on the floor, he actually did land on his feet, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah, and it was a good back and forth match, I guess. Yes, yeah, and then yeah, and yeah, Jamie Noble ended up winning the match after he hit Billy Kidman with a Gibson driver. So yeah, Jamie Noble got the win. He retained the title. So yeah, it was a good match, I guess. I would give it like 3 stars just because like it was just of how short it was. I mean, if it was like a 15-minute match, this probably could have been like probably at least 3.5 stars, probably even reached the 4-star range. But yeah, just to how short it was, that's why I just give it like 3 stars. But it was still a good match. So yeah. And then next up, after this, then we got the European title on the line. It was Jeff Hardy defending against William Regal. And this really was not that hot. This was probably like the worst match of the night. Yeah, this just really, yeah, I really just don't think these two really were like meant for each other, or like they just like really do have two totally different styles. So yeah, this just really like this is kind of similar to the match with RVD and Ric Flair at No Mercy that year. How you remember when I like reviewed that show? I talked about just like how th- these two just they didn't really work well together just because like they had like two totally different styles, so it really like didn't come off very well. And that's kind of the same thing here. Jeff Hardy and William Regal just have two totally different styles, and so yeah, it just didn't work out having a match between the two of them. And plus, yeah, this match was only like 4 minutes and nothing really happened. I really can't really remember anything about the match, and yeah, Jeff Hardy ended up getting the win. And so yeah, and this of course was the last pay-per-view with the European title, because yeah, of course, like the next night on Raw, like the European title was unified with the Intercontinental title, and the European title ended up being retired with the unification. So yeah, this was the final pay-per-view to have the European title featured. So yeah, I really thought that the European title really kind of went out on a sour note. So yeah, we just give that match like a 2 stars. And then next up, then we had Chris Jericho versus John Cena in John Cena's pay-per-view debut. And yeah, this was a surprisingly good match too. Who, I mean, yeah, of course, like John Cena at this time, of course, he had just debuted like a few weeks prior. So, yeah, with John Cena as just a raw rookie. Yeah, if you remember, like when he first came, he actually did wear like actual wrestling attire and stuff. So, yeah, so John Cena was just like pretty green at this time. So there really was not a lot to work around with him. But yeah, Chris Jericho actually did get a presentable match out of John Cena here, and this was a pretty entertaining match right here. I mean, there really wasn't anything like too memorable about this match, though. I did like at one point in this match as Chris Jericho was like a Irish whip by John Cena into one of the corners of the ring. And Chris Jericho then like hopped up onto the turnbuckle, and John Cena was like starting to charge at Chris Jericho, and yeah, John Cena like then just started to John Cena then just like jumped up, I guess like trying to go after Chris Jericho, but then Chris Jericho then just like did a drop kick to John Cena, like a flying drop kick from the turnbuckle, and yeah, just hit John Cena right in the chest. So yeah, I actually liked that in the match. I thought that was a cool spot, and yeah, it was just kind of like a back and forth match, and then yeah, a pretty good ending too, where Chris Jericho tried to go for the Walls of Jericho on John Cena, but John Cena was able to counter it into a roll up and got the pin, and so yeah, John Cena defeated Chris Jericho here. So yeah, that was like a pretty big shocker. I mean, yeah, with like the debuts that year of Randy Orton and John Cena, here, like they did get like surprising victories like that. I mean, you remember Randy Orton's debut that year when he actually got a win over Hardcore Holly in his debut match, and here this wasn't actually John Cena's debut match, but yeah, his pay-per-view debut, and he surprisingly got the win over Chris Jericho. So yeah, I guess it was a good way to really kind of like introduce Randy Orton and John Cena into the company. So yeah, and this was actually like a surprisingly decent match, like I said. Yeah, I would probably give this probably like a 2.5, 2 3/4, yeah, something like that. Yeah, once again, you'll see my final rating down in the description, but yeah, it was a really good match. Or, yeah, a decent match, I guess. So yeah. And then after this, then this is when JR and King then took over the commentary for the pay-per-view. So yeah, and next up, then we had the Intercontinental title on the line. It was Rob Van Dam defending against Brock Lesnar, and yeah, this was a really good match. Also, yeah, this was probably Brock Lesnar's best match in the company at that point. Yeah, but yeah, this was definitely better than the match that they had at King of the Ring, and that is probably due to like since they either one of these guys actually did have a match before this, they were both like at 100%, so they could actually give like better. They were actually like able to put out like a much better match, and they could actually like work better with each other here. And yeah, really did like this match a lot. Like yeah, this is just like once again something like just helping to display Brock Lesnar as a beast. Yeah, yeah. At one point, like Brock Lesnar like tried to hit RVD with an F5, but RVD actually did counter it into a DDT and then hit a 5-star frog splash on Brock Lesnar. So yeah, it was a pretty cool spot. Pretty cool seeing RVD actually counter the F5 like that. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and there was like one point in this match where like Brock Lesnar was like out on the outside of the ring, like talking to Paul Heyman or something, and RVD actually like tried to or just like jump up down to the floor, but yeah, RVD was like caught by Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar actually did like like slam RVD back first down onto the floor, which looked like just yeah, you could just like hear the splat of RVD hitting. So yeah, that was brutal right there. And yeah, and it actually did look like there could have been some points in this match where RVD could have actually won the match. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then yeah, it was just like a really, really good, entertaining match right here. Of course, like you had Paul Heyman getting involved a couple of times in the match. Yeah, and then yeah, and then it was a pretty good ending with it looked like RVD he probably could have had the match won. Now RVD actually did hit a 5-star frog splash on Brock Lesnar, and then yeah, it looked like RVD was gonna get the well, yeah, RVD went for a cover, but as the referee was counting, Paul Heyman pulled the referee out of the ring, and then yeah, that like then got Brock Lesnar disqualified. So yeah, this was like Brock Lesnar's first actual loss in the WWE, even if it was by disqualification. And yeah, yeah, though, yeah, though really, like Paul Heyman did kind of screw Brock Lesnar over because if you watch when Paul Heyman actually did pull the referee out of the ring, Brock Lesnar actually was going to kick out from that. So yeah, so Paul Heyman pretty much just screwed Brock Lesnar out of a shot to become the Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, yeah, but then and yeah, then Brock Lesnar ended up getting disqualified. So yeah, RVD retained by disqualification. But then yeah, afterwards, then RVD then just like to hit a baseball sign at Paul Heyman, and then the referee Charles Robinson was starting to attack Paul Heyman, but then Brock Lesnar then broke it up. Yeah, Brock Lesnar just threw Charles Robinson aside, and apparently just that knocked Charles Robinson out. Yeah, and then afterwards, like RVD then went after Brock Lesnar some more. RVD like tried to hit a Van Terminator on Brock Lesnar, but yeah, Paul Heyman like stopped RVD from doing it, and then yeah, Brock Lesnar then attacked RVD and then hit an F5 on RVD onto a steel chair. So yeah, just more stuff to display Brock Lesnar as a beast, just making him look more like a monster, or just to build him up throughout the summer. Yeah. Yeah, and I was actually like kind of surprised here that well, I shouldn't really say that, but yeah, I like really could have thought that Brock Lesnar could have actually become the Intercontinental Champion. I'm kind of like shocked that the WWE really didn't do that. Like I think that I could have like done more to like really like build him up some. Like if he actually did win the Intercontinental title first before he actually did become the Undisputed Champion, that would have been like another good way to really like build him up as a main eventer. Like just do what it did for a lot of other guys before, like The Rock and Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels, and a lot of other guys that did become the Intercontinental Champion before they became the WWE Champion or WWF Champion. So yeah, I really thought that they could have done that, but they didn't. They decided to just like jump right into it and just immediately give Brock Lesnar the WWE title, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I really like thought that they could have actually given him the Intercontinental title first. But yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with it. But yeah, this definitely was like a really good match. Yeah, like I said, Brock Lesnar's best match in the WWE at that point. So yeah, I give this 3.5 stars. Definitely a really good match right here. Right. And then next up, then we had a no disqualification match with Big Show versus Booker T. And this was decent, I guess. I mean, I guess this was just really more about like the stuff with Booker T and the rivalry with the NWO that was going on a couple of weeks prior. Yeah, of course, like just like the well before this is when Vince got rid of the NWO totally. So yeah, this really wasn't really about the NWO anymore. But yeah, yeah, like Big Show was still like part of the NWO, and yeah, Booker T was like had that feud going on with the NWO, though on Raw, well, like several weeks leading up to this match. And yeah, this was, I guess, a decent match, I guess. And this is kind of like Chris Jericho and John Cena, where there really is nothing that memorable about it. Though I did have one spot in the match I really liked, where they were like in the announce table area, and Big Show was bent over the Spanish announce table, and Booker T was on the other announce table, and Booker T actually hit a scissors kick on Big Show through the announce table. So yeah, I like that. That was a awesome spot in the match. But yeah. And then Booker T then got the win in this match. So yeah, this match was only about 6 minutes, so nothing too special about it. But yeah, it was a decent match for what it was. So yeah, I give it like a 2.5 stars. And then after this, then we had a segment where like to decide where Triple H was gonna go, whether he was gonna be going to Raw or staying on SmackDown, because at this time, like, Triple H was on SmackDown at this point. But yeah, well, after like Eric Bischoff became the general manager of Raw on the Raw before this pay-per-view, like, he was talking about how he wanted to sign Triple H to Raw, and then yeah, and Vince McMahon then was like just saying how anyone on Raw and SmackDown could jump ship to the other brand if they feel the grass is greener on the other side. So yeah, this was the beginning of that free agency period. And so then Eric Bischoff was like just making the offer to Triple H to come to Raw. And so then yeah, it had like this segment where with a Triple H, Eric Bischoff, and Stephanie, and he did decide where Triple H was going to go. And yeah, it was just like with Eric Bischoff and Stephanie just both pleading their cases to Triple H and stuff on why they want him to be on their show, you know. And it looked like Triple H was going to be going, well, he was going to be staying with Stephanie on SmackDown, but then, yeah, Shawn Michaels then came out, and then, like, was just, like, talking to Triple H that he should consider, like, friendship and fun and all this stuff. And, yeah, then, yeah, I won't really talk too much about this, but, yeah, in the end, like, Triple H made the decision to go to Raw. So, yeah, this was the start of Triple H on Raw, but then, yeah, of course, like after this, like, the next night on Raw was then when Triple H, like, turned on Shawn Michaels and started that Triple H Shawn Michaels rivalry. And then of course, like, after this, for the next couple of months during this free agency period, we then had like a bunch of guys like jumping to both Raw and SmackDown. Like, Brock Lesnar ended up jumping to SmackDown the next night on Raw, and then like, we've had like people coming to Raw were people like the Un-Americans, Chris Jericho, Stacy Keibler, Randy Orton, the Hurricane, and other guys. And then on SmackDown, we had like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit jumping to SmackDown. Undertaker jumped to SmackDown. Crash Holly jumped to SmackDown. Yeah, we just had like several guys from both Raw and SmackDown jump shipping to the other brand for the next couple of months. So yeah, but yeah, this segment was just fine, I guess. I mean, it kind of did drag on a little, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess they just did it to kill time, since like a lot of the matches on the show were relatively short. So yeah, I guess they just did this to kill time, which is fine, right? And then after this, then the next match was for the Tag Team Championship. It was Hulk Hogan and Edge defending against Christian and Lance Storm. And yeah, this was a pretty good match as well. I mean, I really did enjoy the Hulk Hogan and Edge team. I really did love when they did win the tag team titles on the 4th of July episode of SmackDown. That was a great moment. And yeah, I really did enjoy watching Hulk Hogan and Edge as a team together. Yeah, I really did like that. And yeah, this was just also recently after the formation of the Un-Americans with a test Christian and Lance Storm. Yeah, I remember all this stuff with them just like totally bashing America. Yeah, you had them like disrupting the singing of America the Beautiful and stuff, just like saying America sucks and stuff. So yeah, that was like kind of, yeah, I felt the Un-Americans was kind of like a controversial gimmick, especially like it was not even a year removed from 9/11, but And I guess, like, they didn't do anything, like, totally, truly controversial. I mean, yeah, they were gonna burn the flag on an episode of Raw, but yeah, they didn't. So yeah, I guess, like, we can't complain about anything with the Un-Americans really going too far. But yeah, this was a pretty good match right here. Once again, I mean, yeah, it was just kind of like back and forth between both of the teams. Of course, like, the crowd was totally energetic for Hulk Hogan. And yeah, this was really just more like with, it was really just like stuff with like Hulk Hogan and like bringing up the crowd. And yeah, this was also like good for like Lance Storm and Christian. Like, they were just like sharing the spotlight with Hulk Hogan, so yeah, it was like good to see them like get that kind of attention. And yeah, it was a pretty good back and forth match. I thought, yeah, just like with the table tag match, I thought all four guys did look good in this match. I thought all four guys got enough offense and stuff. Yeah, you had like a run in from Test at one point in this match where, like, as Hulk Hogan was on the outside of the ring, Test attacked Hulk Hogan, but then, yeah, Rikishi then came out and, like, got rid of Test. And then as the referee was, like, on the outside of the ring, as Hulk Hogan and Christian were fighting on the outside of the ring, then when it looked like Edge had the match won, then Chris Jericho then, like, came through the crowd and then just nailed the Edge with one of the tag title belts, and that allowed Lane Storm to pin Christian. So yeah, Lane Storm and Christian then won the tag team titles. So yeah, I was kind of upset that Hulk Hogan and Edge's tag title run was so short-lived that they only did hold the title for a couple of weeks. I really would have liked to see Hulk Hogan and Edge as a team for a while, like at least like a couple of months, because yeah, the crowd really did love them as a team, and yeah, I just really would have liked to see them get like a good run with the tag titles. But yeah, it was ended up being cut short like this, so yeah, that kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But yeah, this was still overall a pretty good match overall. I would give this probably like 3.25 as well. I really did like this match. So yeah. And then we got the main event, a triple threat match for the Undisputed Championship. It was The Undertaker defending against Kurt Angle and The Rock. And gosh, this was an awesome triple threat match right here. Really did love this match a lot. This was like just such a great match. This is probably like one of WWE's best triple threat matches of all time. Not on the level, of course, of like the WrestleMania 20 triple threat with Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. But yeah, this is probably like top 5 triple threat matches in WWE history. Just really did love this match. I mean, all 3 guys looked good in this match. I mean, it was just filled with like so much excitement in this match. Here, I mean, yeah, I really did love in this match how just like all 3 guys were just using each other's finishers on each other. Like you had the Rock like hit Undertaker with a choke slam, and also, The Rock also then like had Kurt Angle in an ankle lock, and Kurt Angle also like hit a rock bottom on The Rock. Again, The Undertaker also like hit an angle slam on Kurt Angle. So yeah, I just really did like how they were just like using like each other's finishers on each other. I really did like that. And yeah, just like filled with just so much excitement throughout this match. Just really did love this. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you had like some near falls in this match. Like you had at one point The Rock hitting a people's elbow on on The Undertaker, but Kurt Angle will pull The Rock out of the ring. And like Kurt Angle tried to go for the pin, but yeah, Undertaker survived it. Yeah, at one point, like, The Undertaker hit last ride on The Rock, but Kurt Angle broke the count, and it looked like that could have been it. And yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, you did have, like, a Kurt Angle, like, actually having The Undertaker in the ankle lock, and yeah, you actually did have, like, prior to this match, you did actually have, like, Kurt Angle actually submitting Undertaker with the ankle lock. So yeah, it's pretty impressive that Kurt Angle like really did like make Kane, Hulk Hogan, and the Undertaker all tap out to the ankle lock. Like, I mean, it was like the first time that all 3 of those guys had really tapped out. Well, with Hulk Hogan, like he had tapped out before when he was Hollywood Hogan, like with the NWO and stuff. But yeah, as the Hulkster, that was like the first time he did tap out. So yeah, pretty impressive that Kurt Angle actually did get like all 3 guys to tap out for the first time like that to the ankle lock. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, you were just like really just filled with like so much excitement in this match. It was just like such a action-packed a match. Actually, it was just like so entertaining to watch. And yeah, and then yeah, you had like Undertaker like hitting a choke slam on Kurt Angle, but then The Rock hit a rock bottom on Undertaker for a near fall. And then yeah, then in the end of this match, you did have a Kurt Angle like hitting an angle slam on Undertaker, and then when Kurt Angle then like drew his attention to The Rock and like he looked like he was even gonna like hit a finisher on The Rock. Then The Rock then just out of nowhere then hit a rock bottom on Kurt Angle, and then yeah, then The Rock that allowed The Rock to then pin Kurt Angle and get the win. And yeah, The Rock then won the Undisputed title. So yeah, really a great moment seeing The Rock win the WWE title. Of course, the people really did love that, and yeah, this was just I really did like this match a lot, and yeah, seeing The Rock win the title really was an awesome moment and a great way to end the pay-per-view. And of course, this then like set up for The Rock and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam the following month. So yeah, but yeah, definitely a really great triple threat match. Yeah, like I said, probably top 5 best in WWE history. Really did love this match. So yeah, I give that match 4.25. So yeah, so overall the show, I give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, definitely like a really entertaining show overall. I mean, of course, like, yeah, the tag table match was really good, and yeah, you did like have like just, yeah, the pay-per-view was just really did have like just the enjoyable element throughout just about the entire show. I mean, despite the fact that you did have like a lot of short matches, like with the Cruiserweight title match, and the tag title match was also relatively short as well. And even like the matches that really were just like the kind of just decent matches and stuff still were like very enjoyable as well, like the Chris Jericho, John Cena, and Booker T versus Big Show. Yeah, while they were like really short and not really memorable, they still were like enjoyable to watch. So yeah, really just like really yeah, aside from like the European title match, which really wasn't that hot, but still it wasn't a horrible match. It's like not really that anything that spectacular or really anything like that hot about it. Yeah, we really do just pretty much have an enjoyable show to watch from start to finish. Not really like a phenomenal classic show or anything, but definitely like a very enjoyable show that is definitely worth a watch. Like I said, this show really does deserve a lot more recognition. If you haven't seen it before, check it out. It is definitely worth a watch. So yeah, that's my take on it. It is definitely worth a watch. So see it if you haven't before. Alright, so yeah. Alright, so this is from my review of Vengeance 2002. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video and then this review. And so yeah, and I'll try to come up with some topics that I can make some videos on, just so I can like make more and not really be gone for like as long as I have since my last video. So yeah, I'll try to like stay like more active on this more active for the videos was now, and really like just try to just keep the loop going. All right, and so yeah, and tomorrow I am celebrating my 25th birthday. So yeah, man, can you believe I'm gonna be 25 years old starting tomorrow? Well, I'm gonna be 25 years old tomorrow. So yeah, that's hard to believe for me. Alright, but anyway, so I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.